There's something rather special about being able to form a team of Iron Man and Rocket Raccoon and face off against some of Capcom's biggest and baddest characters. Marvel vs Capcom, Infinite makes that possible in the most bombastic of ways. Infinite also escalates the action from the previous game, Marvel vs Capcom 3, Fate of Two Worlds, but simultaneously takes some steps back, too. The rebalancing and shift of the game's mechanics make for a very different experience for anyone that's used to the previous iterations of the game. For newcomers, however, it's arguably a more accessible and rewarding experience. One with a storyline that's cheesy as hell, but with beat-em-up fun that makes it worthwhile. Marvel vs Capcom Infinite Review, what's new for the series? The first and most noticeable change in Infinite is the reduction of players. Instead of 3 vs 3, the game now focuses around a 2 vs 2 brawling mechanic. This means there is slightly less chaos when calling in multiple characters to assist and support you in one go, making the game more accessible to players who just want to engage in a Marvel-themed brawl without really thinking about the ins and outs of how fighting games work. There's also an easy combo mechanic baked into the game that makes it easier for new players to understand exactly how the combo chains work and how you can play around with them. Starting with your character's light attack, moving clockwise around the controller's face button sees your character pull off some incredible moves. This plays into the idea of empowering new players by learning the timing of these auto combos and how they can be blocked and intercepted. That you can rise through the combo chain and end up with a pretty cool looking super, even if you have no technical proficiency in games like this, is a huge bonus for Marvel vs Capcom newbies. There's also newly added Infinity Stones. These are a mechanic that returns from the Marvel Superheroes arcade game and which grant unique abilities in battle, plus offset some of your character's weaknesses to boot. Using the Time Stone, for example, you can quickly and easily close the gap with your opponents and make slow characters much more in your face and dangerous. Marvel vs Capcom Infinite Review, the best fighter for newcomers and experts? But that isn't to say there's nothing in the game for the sort of players who own their own fight stick. There is such an extensive roster in the game that even after over 10 hours of play, we're still finding combinations of characters that work really well together. Combined move lists are so extensive, that even if you commit to a base duo of characters you'll still be experimenting in the practice lab for hours until you're satisfied. The roster is a solid mix of rush-down characters, grapplers, and zone control characters, and playing around to find out which two fit your fighting style, and how you can use them against other teams, is one of the best bits about Infinite. On top of that, the Infinity Stones add a new layer to the action. The Power Stone